Do you need an expert? And what is an expert? Often local governments engage organisations and consultants to help them. Sometimes they think they need an expert. Sometimes they think they're even engaging an expert. But often the case is that they are not, and as a result they are led into making bad decisions and unwittingly hurting their communities. So we need to be quite clear about what an expert is, when you need an expert, and why it's important to get what you think you're buying. So you'll need an expert when you have a difficult problem, when the problem solution is not clear, and indeed sometimes when it's not even clear whether there is a problem. If you've already thought your way all the way through an issue and you've got an answer and you've got no intention of changing it, do not get an expert. Go to a commercial consulting firm and get a really nice public presentation. Really nice glossy brochure to tell you what you already know, and a really swish personable young person out there to tell your community what you've already decided. That's what you need. But if you are on a search for truth, if you don't have all the answers, and if you believe your community should get all the answers and should get the best, then you need an expert. Okay, so what can an expert actually offer you that you can't get elsewhere? Knowledge, deep knowledge, knowledge built up over decades. Not just that I've read something and I regurgitate it to you. Perhaps I've created the knowledge, or I've read the knowledge and then I've tested it empirically, or I've read the knowledge and I've read various critiques on the knowledge. It's that level of knowledge that you need if you don't know all the answers. It's that level of knowledge that you will find in an expert. Confidence. Confidence comes with knowledge, comes with experience, but that experience needs to be based on knowledge. There needs to be a knowledge base built up over decades. The ability to connect the true expert, the true scholarly greats, the Emeritus Professor Brian Dollery, William Riker, Albert Hirschman, people like that, they talk like everyday people. I hope I talk like an everyday person. I'll have a talk to you about farming, about home brewing. I'm just a regular guy. They don't sound like they've swallowed a dictionary. It's the wannabes that sound like they've swallowed a dictionary recently. And they'll have skills that you just can't find elsewhere in the marketplace, like econometrics, particularly panel econometrics. Any dingbat can press buttons on computers and stick numbers in front of you, but only an expert can give you robust statistical evidence that you can rely on, that you can bank your community's lives on. You can only find that with experts. And independence. A true expert, they're in the game of making knowledge, distilling knowledge, testing knowledge. They're not in the game of making money. Whether they do consulting or not, it's neither here nor there. Often it's a headache for them. It detracts from their main career and their main interest. So as a result, because they're not relying on money, they're not trying to upsell you something or on-sell you something or sell something to someone else based on what they're doing for you. They are only there because they are interested in the truth, they're interested in your community. Where will you find these experts? You'll probably find them in universities. They are not just me, of course, people like Emeritus Professor Brian Dollery. There's lots of experts out there. You can find them. You're probably not going to find them in a commercial consulting firm though. So let's talk about these important traits, the really important traits for an expert. Independence. I don't have to sell you anything. My promotion is based on the knowledge I generate, the books, the scholarly work I create, 80 peer-reviewed pieces. To create a piece of scholarly work, to get it accepted, it's not me turning up to the journal saying, I'm an expert, here you go, publish this. That work gets interrogated by 2 or 3 experts from around the world, don't know who I am, and it doesn't get published unless it's good enough. That gives me the confidence, that gives me the independence. I can rely on my record because I can prove my record. I don't have to tell you the story you want. And in fact, I won't. I will only tell you the truth. And if you're on a quest for truth, you want a real expert. If you're on the quest for, a nice public presentation or something you've already decided is the story, well, then you don't want an expert. So, independence is important if you are on a quest and a search for truth and good decision making. And you just can't overemphasize how important robust work is. Dodgy little ratios, dodgy little statistics, dodgy little benchmarks, they have the place sometimes, but they will never replace world's best sophisticated econometric modeling or data development modeling. There's few people that can actually do it. Some people can press the buttons and put some numbers in front of your face, but there's few people that can show and prove that they're giving you robust answers, giving you world's best quality work and modeling on which to base your decision making. And that's probably what your community expects. And I'd say it's what they deserve. And if you come to me and you want world's best, I will give you world's best and I will give you the truth. But as I say, you don't always want the expert. Sometimes you've already made up your mind what you want. You need a story written to suit that. Well, then you don't need an expert. Then you need a nice public presentation, which you can get from lots of really good consulting firms that are good at it. But if you need an expert, if you need the robust truth, if you need to be able to rely on the facts, well, then you probably need to go to an expert, and that expert's probably going to be a scholar. And you just can't overemphasize the importance of knowledge. So many people can say things really confidently and have it completely wrong. We did an exercise, I did an exercise a few years back in Tasmania, and a whole heap of local governments got reports done by very prestigious consulting firms. We're talking world's best 4 here. And we had to do reports. I was stunned. Really simple economic concepts that I thought every school child had learnt were completely misconstrued, misapplied, and some of them completely back to front the way they were presented in these brochures. They look beautiful, beautiful glossy brochures, great presentation, but the knowledge was wrong, out and out wrong. There's no doubts about that. Will you be able to tell the difference between true and correct knowledge applied properly, or some fancy words are just thrown out there and you're meant to believe them because they come in a nice glossy brochure? If you go to a scholar, someone that can prove their expertise with scholarly publications, you know you'll be getting real knowledge. You'll know that it's been applied properly, and you'll know that you can make good decisions for your community based on that. So I hope this has given you food for thought. As I say, you don't always need an expert. If you don't need an expert, if you've already got a story you want told and you come to me, I'll say, well, you need to go elsewhere. You probably need to find a commercial consultant that can present that prettily in a glossy brochure. It's really swished and really good with people. And that's the best bet for you. But if you need the truth, if you need facts you can rely on to make the best decisions for your community, well, then you need an expert. Where are you going to find them? You're probably going to find them sitting in a university somewhere. As I say, it doesn't have to be me. There's other people that do this, such as Professor Emeritus, Professor Brian Dollery. But please don't be misled into thinking that when you go to a commercial consulting firm, you will be hiring an expert, that somehow their experience in consulting is the equivalent of expertise, because they're two very different things. Be sure that what you're paying for is actually what you think you need and what you do need. Hope this video has helped you. If it has, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, send it around to others so that other people have good information on which to base their decisions. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.